Hello, guys. Got a chance to play football yesterday in uh, in our complex. Now, incidentally, we were discussing about football now with friends. I think in the last week. Important point was who wins matches was the topic of discussion in our careers, office, politics, society, family, and all around us. Who wins matches is very crucial. Most of the people think that forwards, for example, in case of football, forwards who score goals win matches. In some people think goalkeepers win matches because they save from scoring goals, and then some people say defenders win matches because they defend against the opposition competition, and obviously and the midfielders. So the important point here was to understand why people think that different people win matches. Especially, most of the people think that goalies and forwards, to be very precise, forwards win matches in football, in careers, in office politics, everywhere. Now, forwards are the people who basically are very visible. When they score goals, people know that they have scored goals. And when goals are scored on our team, then obviously we know that we have failed. But then that if you look at football match, 90 minutes or 45 minutes of each, two halves, then this goal scoring and defending goals tends to be very maybe 5-10 minutes of work, but remaining 60, 70 minutes or 80 minutes are gone or spent in defending against attacks and attacking against defenses. So this is very important to understand who basically wins matches in office parlance also. If let us say we are winning some projects from a competition. Who has won the match for us? Is this the salesperson who got the PO? Is it the manager who made sure that all the technical details, all the logistical details, all the legal details, all the commercial details are fulfilled at the right time and they are aggressive? Or there is a team that does evaluation, POCs, technical discussions, etc. Or there are teams who are in the background working on the commercials, or there are teams that are working with the partners and OEMs for better pricing, or there are teams that are giving us intelligence, or there are teams that are motivating us and motivating, inspiring us, and guiding us using their experience of such deals. So there are so many things. Unfortunately, the people who score goals, salesperson like us, for example, the people who bring the POs get celebrated, whereas the actual playmakers who are responsible for winning these deals tends to stay in background. So today's topic is basically who wins the matches, especially with reference to football, but it applies to our careers, our personal life, our social life, our family life, everything. So who wins the matches in football's parlance? Now let me share one Argentine or Spanish term that's South American soccer uses very widely. Enganche. Enganche is the meaning of enganche in Spanish is hook. Now hook is the person that we are discussing now, a playmaker. Before playmaker, let us understand who the forwards are and what their roles are and what the midfielders do and what the defenders do and what the goalies do. Now, forwards are basically the people whose role is whose KRA is scoring goals moment of the ball. That means creating intelligent fronts to create voids or to destabilize the defenses of the opposing team. Then there is linking play. That means taking the ball from our defenders and feeding it to the forwards or the midfielders, so to say, so that the play gets built up. And pressing is when the ball is in opposition team's deep, and we are putting pressure on the defenders and goalie to make mistakes, so that if at all there is an opportunity generated, we should latch onto it and score goals. So this is the role of forwards, and we know that these people are the most visible. For example, salespeople in an organization. These people are the most visible, the most talkative, the most they express the emotions openly. So these are Ronaldo, for example, Cristiano Ronaldo, as well as Brazilian Ronaldo, the forward. The midfielder's role is tackling, intercepting, positioning, passing, stamina, versatility, vision, and dribbling. Now, midfielder is basically working as a connector between the defense and the attack, and he is feeding the defense and protecting the defense and feeding the attack. And then the third important point is playmaker. Now, before telling you about playmaker, let me share one. Johan Cruyff is my favorite player. Total football is the concept that he invented. He was a Dutch captain and playmaker. He won the winner of the Ballon d'Or three times in 1971, 73, and 74. So Johan Cruyff used to say, technique is not being able to juggle a ball 1,000 times. Anyone can do that by practicing. Then go and work in a circus. The technique is passing the ball with one touch, with the right speed at the right time to the correct foot of your teammate. That is what the playmaker is. That is what the technique is. That is what the footballer is. So what he's basically saying is creating opportunities for others, having an idea about where the player is going, our teammate is going, where he will reach while the ball is reaching him. If, for example, if I'm passing a ball to him and the distance is 10, 20 meters, by the time the ball reaches the spot, the player also should be able to reach there. Or by the time the player reaches specific spot, I should be able to pass the ball at the right speed, at the right time, and the correct foot of your teammate. Because as you know, footballers tend to be either strong on left or right foot. Very exceptionally, they are strong on both. But this is what actually football playmaker is, and this is what actually these people actually win the matches. So about playmakers now, what are their roles? Creating chances, awareness of space, observation, knowledge of strengths and weaknesses of our own team as well as the opposition, decision making, dictating tempo of the game, key passes and versatility supported by stamina. Now, if a playmaker has to be on the ground for 90 minutes, he has to be active all the time. You must have seen forwards and defenders tend to get some rest from time to time, but playmakers are always in play, and they have to be intelligent alert also. They have to have the awareness of what is happening with the game. They need to control the pace of the game. If at all the opposition team is very aggressive, they need to slow down the game by small passes, etc. And if the opposition team is, if they can sense weakness in the opposition team, they can just suddenly increase the tempo of the game, and then create chances for the forwards or the midfielders, so to say, to create score goals. So this is what the role of a playmaker is. Now let me give you this graph. Basically, playmaker. If you look at this graph, basically the qualified playmakers are they have spent a minimum 12,000 minutes on the ground. That is the qualifying criteria for this graph. On the y-axis, you can see chances created by these playmakers, and on the x-axis, you can see progressive passes made by these playmakers. The color coding is red color is for players who have played 12,000 to 20,000 minutes on the ground in the actual games. Yellow players are 20,000 to 28,000 minutes. The green players are 28,000 to 40,000 minutes, and the blue one is above 40,000 minutes on the ground. Messi is the only playmaker in this graph who has spent more than 40,000 minutes on the ground making play or playmaking. So if you look at this, some of the most well-known people in the footballing world can be seen here. For example, Pirlo, Messi, Fabregas, goalkeeper, then Pastore, Iniesta, Thiago, Marcelo, Luka Modric, then Di Maria, Neymar, De Bruyne, Ozil, Francisco Totti, El Alberto, James R, Hamsik, Cruz, Coutinho, Isco, Torre, Vedero, De Silva. So these are Pirlo. These are some of the players who have actually controlled the game. The goals may have got scored by forwards, but the games were won by these people. And that is exactly why we are discussing who wins the matches. It is the playmakers who wins the matches, and not always the forwards and goalkeepers. Let me give you another example. Cristiano Ronaldo is one of the CR7, one of the most well-known players in the globe, but he's an individual contributor. He's not a playmaker. He's a forward. And that is exactly why Portugal, in all these World Cup outings, has not been able to do much. So that is what I'm talking about. He can be individually brilliant, but if there is no playmaker to defend him, to support him, to motivate him, to feed him passes, then obviously the team will not be able to survive and win. So this is the thought process, and it applies to teams also, office also. It applies to office, society, personal space, families, everywhere, obviously sports also. In office space also, we have seen a lot of people who will be feeding, who will be inspiring, who will be motivating, who will be creating chances for others. Whereas these are playmakers, whereas there will be people in the office who will be taking credit of everything that is happening. For example, if I'm bringing a sales order of some X value, then I'll be the forward because I'm visible. I have got the order, but I also must know that for winning this order, there are so many players, so many playmakers who have contributed to me. They can be commercial, legal, technical, logistical, intelligence, market intelligence, inspiration. There are so many people that I must be aware of, and that is exactly why Messi is a good playmaker, because he is not only content on scoring goals, but he's now in the role of playmaking, where he's just feeding the forwards so that they can score the goals. He's creating opportunities. He's putting pressure on the defense of the opposition, and he's always running, always observing what is happening in the game. He's always controlling the game. He's always pacing the game. And that's exactly why he's a playmaker. And that is exactly why playmakers win the matches and not the forwards and goalkeepers. We need to keep this in mind, because next time when I win a sales order, a big sales order, I should be able to say that my team, my playmakers, my defenders, my goalkeepers, and my midfielders helped me score the goal. Thank you very much.